Welcome to Navigating Change, the podcast from Teibel Education Consulting. I'm Pete Wright, and this week on the show, Howard Teibel sits down with University of La Verne president Devorah Lieberman. Her tenure at La Verne and her approach to leadership is defined by a guiding principle, that students select a major not based solely on their interest in a specific discipline, but in a mission, a guiding cause that reflects the mark they want to make on the world. Head over to TeibelInc.com to learn more about our work in education. You can subscribe to the show for free. Just click the blue button and we'll let you know each time a new episode is released. Before I hand it off to Howard, listen to just a minute of President Lieberman's message to the student body last fall.
Welcome to the University of La Verne. Fall 2016, our 125th year. Do not just pick a major, choose a mission. Select your mission and ask, how will you change the world? You're here to major in a mission. It's your mission, it's your path. It's our job to help you get there.
Welcome, Devorah Lieberman. Thank you for coming and being on the podcast.
I'm delighted. Thank you, Howard.
I watched the video on your welcome page. I was struck by this mantra that is so memorable and so powerful, which is that when you said, you're here to what?
Major in a mission.
Tell us about this.
Thousands of students come across our campuses every single year. And what I hear students asking, or first I hear their parents asking, what should my son or daughter major in? And when I talk to the students, I say to the students, where do you see your life going? What do you want the University of La Verne to provide for you? And as the discussion always unfolds, they end up talking about purpose, finding a purpose for what they're doing with their lives. So that translated to, rather than just majoring in a major or selecting a major, I said to them, think about majoring in a mission and then choose a discipline or a major that will help you achieve that mission. Because then for the rest of your life, you will have the tools to be able to achieve career success, personal success, and you'll be able to enhance the region no matter where you live.
You know, what's so fascinating about that, both as a advisor consultant in the space of higher ed and as a parent, is that so speaks to me as a parent, right? When I think about being 18, I was not thinking about mission, right? Unless I went to the Peace Corps, maybe, right? If I had the Peace Corps mindset or approach. What kind of reactions are you getting from students who are beginning to engage in this question of, I'm not majoring in this. It's really about, this is the stuff I'm going to do in the context of a mission. Because I would imagine, Devorah, that for some, it really resonates, and for others, they're either confused or perplexed by it.
I think that you have each one of those. And truly, every student that I talk to, I say, what mission do you want to major in? And they'll say, oh, I want to be a business major. And I'll say, well, why? And they'll say, well, I want to make money. And I'll say, well, why? And the more I ask why, the more it begins to sort of unpackage their intentions for their life. And what always happens is when they say, I want to be a teacher. Why? Because I love working with children. Why? Because I love seeing the light bulb go on. Why? And the more I ask why, whether it's a business major or a law student or a doctorate in psychology or an undergraduate major, asking those questions why gets them to where they want to be.
So perfect. You know, why uncovers the value,
right?
The value behind what you want to do. Okay, so I'm just trying to picture this. It is not easy to come up with a good tagline. and not a tagline that just reads well on paper, but actually has substance to it. Where did this come? Did you wake up in the middle of the night, or did someone call you in the middle of the night? I got it. Here's the tagline. Where did that come from? Come on, you could tell us.
No, I think one day I was just walking around. Well, two places. One day I was just talking to students, and I said, and it just sort of came. It just was sort of it was organic. But the second thing is, at the end of my 5th year in the presidency, the Board of Trustees said, we'd like to extend your contract. So let's start talking about that. And my husband and I sat down and we said to each other, we say to our students all the time, major in a mission. And so we said, well, we're at this point in my career, our lives, What's our mission? And the more we deconstructed that, the more we said, we are majoring in our mission, and our mission is the success of the students at the University of Laverne. And the minute we got there, we said, yes, renew that contract.
Beautiful. Tell us about what you went to the White House for and got to speak around.
Well, the White House visit had to do with being recognized, one of the 5 institutions in the country, being recognized for interfaith cooperation and community engagement.
What does that mean, interfaith cooperation and engagement?
2 things. It means having students and faculty and staff who are coming together on your campus in ways that they learn about each other's faiths or perspectives on life, appreciate each other, and then work together in a common goal to make the community better, related to the common values of each of their faiths.
What was it like? What was it like being there and being honored for that and speaking there? Truthfully,
it was a once-in-a-lifetime experience because you were surrounded by people in the White House. Joe Biden was there, Vice President Biden, many, many, many others who came to us and, honored us for the work that we had done as we were majoring in our own mission. The presidents of these institutions were invited to speak to about 200 other university presidents who were wanting us to share our best practices so they could adapt them on their own campuses. And so it was a community of like-minded institutions who said, how do we bring students together, faculty and staff, to really appreciate each other's differences and then work together in a community project based on the values?
Talk about relevancy. Today, I mean, today, to double down on how to find the right way to allow for a point of view, but also make sure that there's a level of respect. How do we continue to promote not just diversity, but a sense of allowing there to be points of view that actually might upset some people? So how are you finding the conversation has shifted in terms of navigating this question of inclusivity now that we are, into 2017?
Well, the shift on our campus has been more and more and more students wanting to get active in the conversation on the campus. So here's an example of what has been I don't want to say an outgrowth, but here's an example of how the students have taken it upon themselves to become more educated and to share their perspective. So every month, and this is hundreds of students, not just a handful, every month the students gather together and they go to either a temple or a mosque or a church there are many, many, many different places of worship, and they all go together to a service together to learn about a particular religion or way of viewing the world. And then they gather together afterwards and they talk about their different perspectives. They also work every week actually. They go to a community garden, and together they plant and they harvest the gardens, and together they take those foods to the homeless, because that's at the core of all these religions, which is community engagement and making the world a better place. So these students last Friday, they did a march to about a mile and a half from here to a mosque. They attended a service at the mosque, and then they gathered together and talked about what are our differences, what are our commonalities.
So how is the campus, outside of the campus, relating to this? The media, institutions outside of the walls of your campus relating to that kind of outreach? Is it spreading beyond the walls of your campus in terms of the larger community seeing what you're doing?
Absolutely. So this march that happened last Friday, 2/3 were from the campus and 1/3 were from the community. We've had several candlelight vigils in the past year for various reasons, all related to the San Bernardino attack, and lots of other instances since then. And every time we have had a candlelight vigil here on the campus, we have had hundreds of people come from the community to the campus because they know this is a place where there will be interfaith cooperation for a greater good. And what you've seen on other campuses where there's been, I don't know the right language, but I'm going to say on other campuses where there have been active protests in defiance of the administration or acts, this has been marches saying we need to have interfaith cooperation and working together to a better outcome. Part of it that makes it a natural for the University of Laverne is because when we were founded in 1891, is our 125th anniversary this year. When we were founded by a Christian denomination called the Church of the Brethren.
Okay.
And we're no longer affiliated with the Brethren, but the Church of the Brethren was grounded in pacifism and tolerance of the other. So I think it just was a natural outgrowth today
Beautiful.
Of those founding values.
That's awesome. And you're the first female president of the institution.
Well, I'm the first female president and the first president who's not Brethren. Wow.
They really jumped in, didn't they?
Yeah, because I say facetiously, we went from Brethren to Lieberman.